Hello, one and all. Welcome to Game 3 of Round 2, NeutralKotic versus Ridal. The first two matches, we've seen Josh, NeutralKotic, sweep in the first one with an interesting cannon rush that was very well executed, and the second one with some nice back and forth, some large armies finally.
Question
Yeah,
mark.
I mean, on that second game, Richard just tried to capitalize on those banshees, but Josh stayed calm and made the right preparations for it.
Yeah, absolutely. The observer was out, and then when he noticed the banshees were in play, he positioned his army perfectly in order to neutralize them, and I think that really threw off Richard's game plan.
Yep. I mean, he tried to put a toll on Josh's economy, but the problem is with those banshees, he put so much into it, whereas Josh was putting all of the resources that he was gathering into an army, and then just did a kind of slow push towards Richard, and Richard didn't quite have enough.
Yep, and sure enough. So it'll be very interesting to see how it plays out on this map, which has a little bit more interesting of a pathway layout to it.
Yeah, they're actually in what I guess you would call close positions here. They're just across the little gap, and air is going to be definitely a big play here. I could see drops going really well for Richard or Josh with the Warp Prism. And but it looks like we got an early expand out of NeutralKotic with this forge. I'm guessing he's going to wall off and then cannon up and put down his Nexus.
That seems like a pretty smart play, but he has to be sure to put some cannons along that back edge to watch for Banshee or Viking harass.
Yeah, he might be thinking that, Richard went Banshee last time and didn't really pay off too much. Hopefully he won't go for it again this time, though.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, all of our previous matches in the LIG, Air has always won this map, I think. I'm trying to think back over the last round. I really only remember my win, though. My one win from last week was rushing Void Race.
Well, it looks like we have a little bit of SCV harassment, and I think Richard kind of knows what's going on, and I'd be a little shocked if he didn't maybe expand himself really fast here.
Yeah, I mean, literally all of Josh's buildings right there. Gateway Forge and a cannon coming down. So he got a pretty complete picture right there. And we see his second barracks. Nothing extraordinary so far.
Usually when you go something like a 2 barracks, at least, he's trying to put on a little pressure, but I'm not quite sure what type of pressure he's going to be putting on with the cannon and basically complete wall off in front for NeutralKotic.
I think it is a complete wall off if I'm looking at it right, but I can never tell. I never set up my walls right.
Yeah, it should be a complete wall off.
Glad you're here, Matt. And we see NeutralKotic hasn't gotten gas yet, even though he's at 20 supply, whereas typically you get it for Protoss at 14. So maybe he's going heavy Zealot or heavy lots of cannons somewhere. I'm not sure what his plans are.
Well, I mean, with that early talk about quite a bit going down for Richard there. We got factory and 3 barracks, so he's definitely planning out a timing attack here.
Yeah, definitely. Meanwhile, Josh is rushing his second, his natural there, and I'm not sure how this one's going to play out, as usual.
It's really going to be, can Josh hold against this, pretty fast and strong push, or is Richard going to, romple stomp all over him?
And certainly we could always use more of that in this game. More romple stomps. And both players, interestingly, are pretty much setting up their perimeter supply watchers at the same time. Kind of amusing.
I mean, it's coming around that 6-minute mark in which generally attacks start to begin, so it's kind of a wise thing.
At present, we see NeutralKotic has 5 more harvesters than Ridal, but he just brought in his second gas, and on 2 bases. So obviously NeutralKotic's going way heavier on economy with only 1 fighting unit at the moment, and meanwhile, Ridal has got these barracks working overtime.
Yeah, I think something that's going to be really, really strong for Ridal if he pulls it off. We got that starport going down. I could definitely see some drops, and we don't have any cannons along that edge of that. So if it keeps going at this rate, I could see a heavy push that just really hurts NeutralKotic.
Yeah, especially if he doesn't put any of those cannons around the back edge there, which would really be the next intelligent thing to do, I would say.
And instead, he actually put 2 more at his front, which, I mean, at the time is pretty well guarded. But around this minute mark, Richard should have a substantial force, and I think Josh knows it, and that's why he's putting them up at least right there.
Yep. Another thing we could possibly see is maybe a big attack at the front while some Banshees come in the back, or some other such strategy.
Medevac being built.
Yeah, we got the medevac coming out, so that lends itself more towards the drop play that I was
Yeah,
suggesting.
indeed. And of course, Josh doesn't have anything in his main, including none of his army, none of the cannons.
Well, I mean, for an army right now, he's got two stalkers and a zealot, which is actually trapped outside of his base. So it really doesn't have a lot. And oh, here goes the
Yep,
first dropship loaded up.
8 Marines. The question is, I guess he's just going to go ahead and go for it, try and disrupt that mineral line, which would really help Ridal catch up on economy-wise right now, if not already just overrun it. But at the same time, J Dukes there, NeutralKotic is getting a photon cannon in his mineral line and is setting down a Stargate, and I don't think Richard's scan saw any of that. But he canceled the Stargate.
It went Twilight Council, which is not going to be good because Richard could easily just drop in that big open area and
It's
just take out those pylons. And
there he goes to do it. But again, that photon cannon in the mineral line couldn't have come a second sooner.
And Stem's about to be finished for these Marines here, so it's going to be a really effective push on his part.
And here come Josh's Stalkers, and Richard interestingly decides to pull back, but I think those Marines probably could have taken 3 Stalkers. I'm not sure on how the matchup works.
Yeah, they definitely could have. I mean, Stem finished right then, but I guess maybe he wanted to wait till Combat Shield came in. I'm not quite sure why he ran it away, and now his medevac is actually half health. So
yeah, and he's actually got a second medevac. He just hasn't loaded it up yet, so he could start. But of course, I wouldn't be surprised to see Josh throw down quite a few more cannons in his main now after that first attack. Really lost that element of surprise.
And we got the Twilight Council is back up and running now. I think we're going to be seeing some blink come out of that. Yeah. Josh seems to favor the heavy stalker play.
That's hard to go wrong there. And we see a second photon cannon in the mineral line at the main now. And the Marines are coming in the left side of his main. And immediately pull back again. And the medevac goes down with 3... medevac managed to escape. But 5 Marines are probably going to die today.
Yeah, with the medevac there and all 8 Marines, I'm pretty sure he could have taken out those 3 stalkers. It would have been a close battle, but the stalkers do have +1, so I'm not quite sure how that matchup would have actually went.
Now the medevac only has 2 health, so it looks like he's going to pull that back to his base to repair.
And that's definitely a smart decision. I'm a little bit surprised Richard isn't pressuring a little bit more. If you take a look at the army in front of his base there, it's quite substantial.
Oh, and now we see Josh is getting simultaneously a Dark Shrine, a robotics facility, and Blink. So we're going to see some DTs, probably an Observer at first from the robotics facility, and blinking Stalkers. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I don't believe Richard has any detectors at present.
No, but scans, he has 1 right now. I don't know if he's going to end up keeping that or end up calling down a mule here. But he at least does have 1 at the moment.
And now Richard is pulling out. He's got 3 medevacs loaded up.
I'm a bit surprised he didn't repair that medevac. It's probably one of those things he just didn't think about, but it's going to be a real doozy if he ends up losing that medevac and everything inside it.
Absolutely. And we see Josh is dropping down more and more gateways. I think that brings him up to 5. Okay, just 5. I guess that's not that many, but...
What's important to note is, if you take a look at Josh's minerals, he's letting them get way too high, and he really should be, taking advantage of them.
Definitely, and he could just be making mass zealots right now with all those warp gates and minerals, or cannons, which I would think would be a smart move given all the drops that have been going on. And we see those medevacs coming in towards the natural, which is right where Josh has his army, so here, this will be interesting to see how this plays out.
Actually dropped some of them on the low ground, some of them on the high ground, but at the same time we've got 3 DTs walking into the base of Richard, so we're going to have to see how Richard can handle this on 2 fronts.
He didn't destroy that 1 medevac.
Amazingly, that one hero medevac managed to get out. Where do you see the? Oh, the DTs are in the mineral line, and
Oh, warping into an Archon, but that's going to be taken down
yeah,
rather quick.
probably the right response to being seen, but maybe not by his scan.
I think what Richard's going to have to do, though, is kind of push out rather quick here and take advantage of this moment where his army value is probably quite a bit closer. His army value is actually above Josh's right now, but if he doesn't take advantage of it soon, it's definitely not going to stay that way for long.
Yeah. Josh warped in 2 more Dark Templar. I don't see where they came in, but I'll be watching for those to cross. And we see another drop on the high ground, now shooting down at the natural. And the medevac finally got the one shot to kill it. And so now he doesn't have enough storage space for all of his units, I don't think.
I'm not quite sure what he was thinking there. He needs to stop running away and fight a battle, to be honest.
I'm surprised Josh hasn't gotten at least a air unit or something that can hunt out these medevacs that are just floating around and harassing. Certainly they've gotten their fair number of probes out of the way. And now Richard's taking his third, so that we could see a turn in the economy here.
Well, after Richard
Josh
lost,
just opened his base up there.
Yeah, I was watching that. And let's see, he still has an observer in Richard's base, so he should know pretty much everything that's going on. I would assume he can see that army.
yeah, that army actually, I think, right now is actually less than Josh's army. But it's one of those things. If Richard doesn't do something soon, he's going to be playing catch up the rest of the game.
And now Josh brings in 2 Archons. I guess that's why he got the Dark Templar just now, and he's also getting his third, so I guess we're not going to see any tidal waves in terms of economy here.
No, I'm a bit surprised. I mean, oh, there we go, double Nexus. That actually does not surprise me. With the amount of minerals that Josh has, he should just be producing anything and everything he can at the
Yeah,
moment.
should probably go ahead and drop down his 2 assimilators real fast too, and start pumping a crap load of probes over there. Get his economy up immediately. And Richard's third finishes. Oh, I think I also noticed these just a second ago. He has missile turrets at the front of his base now to watch from future Dark Templar incursions, though the observer is behind that line.
This will be epic.
Certainly, if something's going to slow down the frame rate on my capture, this will be it. And Josh is queuing up just crap loads of photon cannons. At least he's spending all those extra minerals he has.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised he didn't do something like take his army out, set it in, right in front of Richard's base, and just cannon him off. I mean, he's got the superior army at the time. He's got the superior economy. I mean,
and Josh is now up to 5 Archons, and he has 3 more Dark Templar, which I presume are going to go towards 2 more in a second. So apparently Josh is favoring Stalker Archon mix at the moment, which that'll be an interesting matchup. I guess Archons are the smart move with they do splash, right? I should know this.
yeah, Archons do splash, and they're generally a heavy unit. They're going to take care of those Marines pretty fast.
Yeah, fantastic unit for the MMM ball. So another smart response we see from Josh. Though neither player seems willing to make a single move right now.
Yeah, they're both playing a little bit conservative, focusing on their economy, waiting for that, I guess, perfect composition to hit for them, and maybe just hopefully max out sooner than the other one. Richard is actually spending his minerals, I would say, a little bit better than Josh, and he now has a supply lead over Josh.
Yeah, but certainly if he doesn't make a move, he's not going to be able to capitalize on that advantage. And we also see Richard's Thors coming in, and Josh has started to get armor upgrades, which are just going to make the Archons that much more annoying. And we have a fleet of 4 medevacs coming around the south side of the map. Looks like they are going to hit the 4th, but there are 5 cannons in it.
I don't think. Hopefully, hopefully Richard sees this and doesn't.
Ooh, that was a close call there. Almost flew directly over those cannons. And Josh, of course, his army is nowhere near, but those cannons are certainly going to take their toll.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why he's going for the cannons here. Josh's army is going to come in here really soon, and if
Yeah.
Richard loses this whole army, it's going to be hard. He's quickly throwing half his army and
And
all
they
of
get
Josh's.
Wow.
decimated by the Archons coming in.
Yep. That's kind of what I was afraid with. It seemed to be a theme in some of the other games. Richard kind of split up his army again, and it ended up affecting him.
Yeah, and we'll see now. Josh looks like he's decided to capitalize on the advantage he probably has and is moving out. So we'll see if he goes to the natural or the third or the main straight in.
These Thors are going to help out quite a bit on this attack, but he really doesn't have much of a ground force to support him.
Absolutely. And of course, Josh has no air units, so the missile detectors aren't going to help. And once those go down, he has 4, 5, 6, 6 Dark Templar. That could pose quite a problem.
And it's good to notice that although they're spotted really fast, by these missile turrets, they do a lot of damage if you let them go unchecked.
Oh, absolutely. They have one of the highest. They do 55 damage in a single strike. It's just they die in about 5 seconds. Just like that. However,
Yeah.
I think Josh's force is just going to steamroll in on here.
No, Richard did a nice maneuver here. He let Josh get in here, and he can use that planetary fortress to his advantage.
Oh, wow.
He might
yeah.
have a chance at this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, it looks like the Thors were not targeted and just cleaned house. And Josh now has no army.
And I think that was the big mistake here on Josh's part. He moved in there thinking that he had a good opportunity, and then I at least noticed he started focusing that planetary a little. But he really needed to try to get rid of that army. As the SCV's right there repairing that planetary. It's not going to go down.
Absolutely. Now we see yet another shift in military forces here, with Richard with his 4 Thors and Medevac and a handful of Marine Marauders, and Josh has 6, 5 Stalkers.
Yeah, I mean, if you just take a look at the food counts here, we got Josh at 56 and Richard at 115. So it just kind of shows you how far behind Josh is after making that attack.
Though Josh again has an incredible number of minerals, and it looks like he's just going to throw down a bunch more cannons and turtle up for a little while, it looks like.
Not sure that's the best choice, but it looks like it's the one he's going to make. Richard's doing the good thing. He's ahead, so he's going to get more ahead, placing some command centers down.
Yeah, and now it looks like Richard's moving out with his slightly smaller army than it was before, but still pretty dominant, and he's going to go right for the third, and we'll see how that works against the 4 cannons.
Yeah, I'd like to see him put on a little pressure here, but hopefully he doesn't push his pressure too much and losing his entire army, kind of like Josh just did.
And here we see the attack. Those cannons are not going to live long under focus fire, and
Especially with those Thors.
Josh is bringing in 2 Archons and 1 Dark Templar, but those don't stand a chance. I think Josh is going to lose his 3rd and 4th here, probably, unless he does something drastic.
Yep. His third's going down. Right now, though, he's really got to... Josh has really got to focus on getting his army up. He's got the minerals. He can worry about his expansions later. He really needs the force to stop these, and cannons are just not going to do the trick.
Yeah, I think he's just looking for any kind of desperate way to get rid of all those excess minerals because his gates can't warp in fast enough to spend them. So he needs to either throw down a bunch more warp gates or, I guess, that's probably what I would say he needs to do.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised he kind of stayed on 5 gate the whole game, and
Easily could have avoided 8, 10 gate.
yeah, definitely.
And now it looks like his probes are just going to attempt to hurt the Thors with cannons. But
I don't think there's much Josh can actually do in this position. The supply lead just keeps going up in Richard's favor here, and I think this might be the end for Josh.
Yeah, he's certainly doing his best though. He's got 3 more Archons and a bunch of Stalkers on the high ground waiting for that army to come by.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's going to do quite enough, but hopefully it will. Looks like Richard's going to do the really smart thing and actually pull back.
Yeah.
Or at least meet up with his other gigantic Thor
Holy
force.
crap. Overkill on the Thors is the key to destroying Protoss, it would seem.
I mean, when you let any Terran force get that many Thors, it's
And
gonna be a tough battle.
And Richard now has a nice view of Josh's 6 Archons with a nice scan. But he does not know about the new third at the I don't know what you would call this position, like the natural third.
And I like that he still has that medevac in that composition. He's using it to spot. I don't know if Josh actually realizes that.
Oh, and it goes down, and now he's going to get some... Oh, and he
he got
uses
the
an
scan.
excellently placed scan to get him the high ground view before he got torn up. And I think it's just a matter of time at this point.
Yeah, there's just not a lot that can take out that many Thors. The amount of health and damage that they deal is a little bit ridiculous.
Absolutely. I know Day 9 talks about this with Void Rays, where they reach a critical mass of number and you just can't do anything about it, and certainly that's achievable with Thors as well.
Yep.
And
It
there's
looks
the
like
GG.
Richard takes his first game in the series.
And we have a very exciting 2-1. Thank you for joining us for our first match of round 2, and we will be seeing you again on Thursday.